All right, I think we got it this time. First one kind of failed. Tried to use the webcam built into the computer. All right, so in this live stream, we are going to be looking at what's inside this lovely, very, very expensive box that pretty much contains at least 3K worth of my hopes and dreams. So, a little bit about what's going on with this. This video has actually been a little while in the making because I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do a live stream take apart of this, so no one can say that I messed with anything or cleaned it or anything else. Essentially, what happened is this is the main brain for the Sensus system of a Volvo XC90. This was predominantly my wife's car, and we got it quite a little while ago now, and actually no longer have the car because of this. So what ended up happening was that we got this car certified pre-owned. She actually had to drive quite a long way or fly quite a long way and then drive the car back to get it. We got a pretty good deal on it, but it was certified pre-owned from a Volvo dealer, and we got every warranty you could possibly get on the thing. If they offered it, we got it because it was a pretty expensive car. At the time, we were actually looking at minivans and things like that, and decided essentially that we wanted the Volvo. It had the third row that we really liked, and we weren't liking any of the minivans that were out there. So we got the Volvo, and we're pretty happy with it initially. Um, and then after a couple of weeks, she went to run to the store and came back in the house saying, "Nothing in the car is working." Okay, that's a little strange. What do you mean nothing is working? The car doesn't drive? No, the car drives, but nothing in the car is working. No air conditioning, no radio, no backup cameras, nothing. So this was a fairly loaded car. It had the 360 camera, and it had all sorts of blind spot monitoring features and everything. This was I believe, 2018 Volvo XC90. And so I went out, got in the car, and nothing. You could not adjust the air conditioning. You could not adjust the radio. You could not turn anything on. No cameras on the entire car. And so this was kind of a major safety issue at this point. Like the car drove, but essentially was in almost like a limp mode. So we made an appointment, and essentially the next day drove it to the closest Volvo dealer to us and explained what was going on. They said they would take a look at it. We gave them all the paperwork for everything, all the stuff with the warranties, and said, we've owned this car like a week and a half, 2 weeks at this point, max. So they take it. They said they don't have any loaners at this point. So we could leave the car, but they couldn't provide us with a loaner car. It's a bit annoying, but we could make other arrangements. That's fine. I'd rather have the car looked at now than try and wait on something. So we leave the car with them, and they said it could take weeks to get around to it. And essentially it took a few days, maybe, and we get a call from them saying, "Hey, we found something in the car, and you're going to want to come down and take a look at it, but you're going to have to pay for it because we can't warranty this." Well, that's a problem. So I go down, and the car's in the bay, completely, the center console and everything's taken apart with it. And he said there's liquid damage, which was new to me. I had looked at a bunch of things with it on forums and things, and there were a bunch of models that were not this exact model, but they had the same Sensus system that had the same failure where it would just essentially boot loop. It would come up and the little screen would spin and it would look like it was trying to do something and then shut down, and then come up and spin and then shut down. And we had told them this and pointed them in the direction of a bunch of it. And he said, well, it won't communicate with the computer. It's not booting. And so we took everything apart, and someone has spilled something in the module for this car. Well, that's a problem. I don't know where the module is. We've never spilled anything in the car. We haven't owned it very long. So I need to see what they're seeing. So he points me in the direction of just kind of in front and of the cup holders. Now I'm going to start by saying, if you have anything that runs the entire car, putting it under or just in front of the cup holders is a very, very stupid design decision. Now that that's out of the way, we can set that aside and try and figure out what was going on. So, took a few photos. This one is just in front of the center console, and this is the module that is supposedly affected. You can kind of see right here, this lovely screw has nothing in it. Okay, I'm looking around trying to figure out, what are you saying there's liquid damage? So he points to this lovely little spot right here, which to me kind of looked almost like rust or something. I don't, it was hard, didn't scrape off with your fingernail. No idea what this is. And then again, a small spot right underneath this blue connector. That's the water damage or liquid damage. Well, yeah, something has spilled coffee or soda or something. When we haven't had coffee in the car, the only soda was a closed bottle. I don't understand. One, I'm not seeing the damage. And two, if there was damage, it was before we bought the car and it was certified and we have all of the warranties. Well, there's liquid damage, so we don't cover that. What about all of the warranties? We have the extended warranties. We have everything that you offered for the entire vehicle. None of those will cover it. Well, what do you suppose that we should do? Their response was, well, contact your insurance and have them pay for it. How much is this going to cost? Well, including labor, it's going to be about $3,000, and we have to wait on the module. Okay. That's a significant chunk of the car. My insurance is probably going to total it if they hear water damage and $3,000. And I don't understand what's going on and why this won't be covered. So he says, okay, well, maybe take it up with Volvo Corporate and the warranty companies that Volvo uses. So we call them, and their response is essentially, well, have you contacted your insurance company? No, that's what we have the warranties for. And you all certified this car. It's certified pre-owned. We didn't do it. And so this should be covered. Well, we can't tell that you didn't do it. And I'm like, I've had the car 2 weeks. There's some sort of weird dry spot on here. There's literally like nothing spilled in the car. And this was the only residue of anything that was found way under everything. And it was completely dry. You can see that they've taken like a wire brush and scraped it and could not figure out what it was. It wasn't really sticky. It was strange. It was almost like a connector glue, or I thought maybe at first it was like capacitor electrolyte from like an electrolytic capacitor. So cannot find anything with this, and no one will budge. Uh, my take on it was, if somebody did do something with this car, that sounds like it's an unforeseen thing that should be covered. We bought the car and were told that it was fully inspected. And their response was, well, we don't inspect that. We can't take things apart. And so it's kind of like, well, then what does certified pre-owned mean? You just essentially certify that, yes, someone had the car before you. So we were getting nowhere with this and ended up essentially having to pay the full replacement for the unit, have it put in because the car is dead at this point. It's kind of useless and has zero value with this thing not working. It runs the whole car and cannot get anywhere with corporate, with the company that does the warranties, or with the dealership. On top of this, the dealership was extremely, extremely rude, to the point where even after it was replaced, when I went to pick it up, the person doing all of the work and paperwork on it said, now, this one for future does have a lifetime replacement as long as you don't spill something in this one too. Resisting the urge to jump over the counter, I requested the part back, which I had to pay $300 and something for a core charge to get my bad unit back, and got my unit, got the car, left. Few days later, we made sure everything was spick and span, working properly, and sold the car. Given that our nearest dealer that was not this one was a few hours away, if anything should happen and I was not dealing with this dealer again, that was kind of our only option. We were not comfortable driving it. If one of these modules went bad while we were out on a road trip or something, we would pretty much be dead in the water and have to have the thing towed. My wife was no longer comfortable driving it because of that. It was just an overall obnoxious experience. So what we're going to do today is we are going to take a look inside this unit for the first time. I've never done anything with it. It's been sitting here waiting on me to get a setup so that we could take a look at it. And the first thing we're going to do is essentially take it apart and see, one, what's in this thing, and what are they talking about with liquid damage or anything else? Is there anything in this unit? So we're going to switch over here, see if we can get this to focus. Maybe a bit bright. Okay, so here we have the unit. And you can kind of see, well, I mean, really nothing. There's nothing on here. There's a little bit of a spot around this one screw. That's the spot I showed you earlier. And then on the bottom of this is one of the things I think might be the culprit. Let me see if I can. There we go. Okay. So you can kind of see there's something here. This does not feel like a drip or anything else. I mean, I guess it kind of scrapes off with your nail, but it's like really hard. Looks like it's possible there was something weird there. And I'm really interested to see what that was. Again, from the photos. Let's see. Where this module is in front of the cup holders and dash and shifter and everything. Like, I have no idea how something would even get here. So this fun guy right here, though, is an automotive grade hard drive. And I mean hard drive, as in little spinning platters with heads above them. And I have been told repeatedly by people in the know that these are very durable. Now, a little bit about me. For years, I actually worked as an electronics repair technician for audio units. I have been inside many, many things. I did not do automotive, though, and I generally stayed away from anything that moved with a hard drive. Kind of like the early MP3 players, you hit a big bump or something, and these things go splat. So you can kind of see what they were, I guess, seeing right in here. We've got the hard drive here. These are your main connections that are back in the dash. And then there are a couple mounting points. There's a fan over here, some vent holes over here. And I'm not even sure where to begin with this thing. I guess taking out screws would be a good start, because I want to know if this is a fluke that whatever is on this is in here, or if something did in fact make it inside the unit, which again still ticks me off, because that means that someone had spilled something in this, somehow cleaned it up, because again, no residue really anywhere else, and then the dealership certified it, sold it, and accepted zero responsibility for anything that happened after that. Now, as you can guess, considering this was not even removed from the car when they told us that it would need to be replaced and that they would not cover it, they had not been in here to see at all what could possibly be wrong with this. And they did not look at it all inside the unit. They do not take these apart. They do not see what the damage was, if there was damage to it, anything like that. They just kind of let it be and say, oh, we see something, we're going to have to replace this then. We're just going to take all of these out. I thought some of them might be holding just the connectors to the panel, but it appears that there are board-mounted connectors in here, and these are holding the plate all to those board connectors. Oh, come on. How do you come off? This is why they don't go in these. There's one screw right here left. Doubt this is holding it, but you never know. Okay. So let's take a look at this panel on the inside. Let's see. Okay. There is no residue on the inside of this panel. Okay. Well, that's a wonderful sign. Nothing there. Okay. These connectors. Let's look at these wonderful green and blue connectors here. See if we can zoom in a bit. Okay, there is nothing. There's nothing on the boards, nothing on the connectors. Look, see if we can look down in here. Get it to focus. Okay, there is nothing in the base of this unit. Now, I highly doubt that somebody took this thing apart and cleaned out this unit before putting it back in the car and then waiting on it to break. So there's nothing in the connectors. Again, the only thing is some sort of unidentified little brown spot right here. Okay. So this is fun. There's zero residue inside the unit at all. Don't want to go too far into this thing because that is pretty damn dense. Now, okay, looks like little copper pads around some of those metal shields. I'm guessing this is some sort of bridge between the boards, but it says push, and that makes me want to pull. So, luckily, these all look like exactly the same size screws. Not that I'm going to do anything with this unit once it's back together, because it's dead. And by dead, I mean they told me it was dead. I don't actually know. This unit may be completely functional, and the service tech might have been an absolute tool, kind of like the one that I am getting now to take this thing apart. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's a lot of fun there. Talk about a number of traces on that thing. So all of these boards are joined together with this little back plane. You've got some antenna modules. I think everything runs through here. Video runs through here. All of the like satellite radio antennas run through here. I think the GPS runs through here. So this is just everything known to man on here. Let's take this hard drive out and see what's going on here. I don't even know what kind of interface this drive has. I'm assuming that if I connected it to a computer, it would be completely the wrong format. This probably runs some sort of proprietary operating system on here. Now notice this hard drive is also at the very bottom of the unit. Okay. Okay, just a little interface there. Now notice this was on the very bottom of the unit, and there is zero residue on any of this. This was the very bottom plate on this thing. And there is just nothing. There is nothing. It looks as clean as can be. I'm not seeing any signs that anything was ever in this. There is no residue on any of the boards or anything in here. Made in Japan. Okay. Set this aside for a second. Okay, these are the first screws that are a bit different, and I think that's because they are standard. Little hard drive screws on the bottom supports. Looks like this is a fairly standard 2.5-inch drive. Again, spinning platters. Would love to see who made this thing. Made in Thailand. It is an HGST OEM drive from 10th of March 2016. 4,260 RPM. It is a 200 gig SATA drive. On the plus side, that does mean it can be connected to the computer. Looks like it's still kind of held in with some little indents on the side here. There we go. Okay. So this is just a 200 gig HGST drive, 4,200 RPM spinning platter drive. They've got this little back plane in here, which actually looks like it has the Mitsubishi logo on it, maybe? Can't really get it to focus. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. Okay. So that just stays in there. And I don't actually see where I needed to remove. Why did I need to remove those screws to get this thing out? I'm losing my mind. All right. So there you have that. That is a wonderful spinning platter drive in a moving car. And actually, while I'm in here, I did not look up this model number. Is there anything special about this drive? Is it an automotive grade drive that so many people have told me is perfectly fine? We can look this up. Okay. This is part number 0A 60531. Boy, it's not finding anything. Finding 20 articles about how reliable HGST is until they were kind of shut down by Western Digital here. I don't see anything else. What are the identifying marks on this thing? I guess we can try a different number. Stop with the... Okay. Let's look up a different part number with this. ES4SAH. $200. Mercedes-Benz World. Broken command hard drive. A lot of languages I do not speak. Okay. Finding a lot of Mercedes-Benz stuff on this. So apparently it's the same drive that's in the command unit for Mercedes. Advanced format. I'm not seeing anything that says anything about being automotive grade. I guess it's possible. Somebody who knows more than I do about automotive hard drives may be able to say something to that effect. As far as I'm concerned, no, they're not more reliable. I get they may have different shock mounting and everything else, but they're still a moving part. They may be better than a lot of hard drives, but it's not exactly like laptops didn't move and get thunked around and everything else. And their hard drives were designed for that, and they also just randomly failed. So given what I saw with the boot loops and how it was acting and the non-response, I still firmly believe that this drive failed. We could put it in a computer and see. Actually, I do have an adapter. Take these screws back out. Let's plug this thing in. See if it even spins up. Because I'm sure that whatever residue that was on the front of that unit has completely mangled the hard drive too. That would be really convenient. Give them one thing, their boards are tight tolerances. Okay. Let's see. Plug this guy in. And it is spinning. I hear it. Wonderful. Wonderful. Does it show up as anything? Okay, no. The answer to that is no. I am getting nothing from this saying that it's doing anything. But again, it may just be unrecognizable. I don't know. So that's lovely. Okay. Well, we know it spins and doesn't make any horrific noises. So there's that. Again, I'm not trying to fix this thing. That's the other thing that is really fun with these cars, apparently, and with the Sensus system that is really lovely, is even if you manage to get a hold of one of these modules, which you're not going to, especially not used, you have zero way of programming it to the car because it takes their special computer to program everything in, and the dealer is just going to charge you an arm and a leg to do that. So basically, you have no recourse if something does go wrong with this, than to pay whatever it is they're asking for the module and the programming and installation of it, which I believe was somewhere to the effect of about $1,000 to install and program the unit. Unit, I think itself was like $2,000 or so, which is fairly insane. I get that it controls every single thing in the car, but come on, guys. It controls every single thing in the car. Is there no redundancy, no special anything with this? Like, I don't understand. So again, There is no liquid in this unit. There is nothing in this unit. There was just somebody who didn't want to take 3 seconds to look at anything and try and contemplate that something could have failed, and so they find one little dirt spot on the transmission tunnel that who knows what it was or how long it's been there, and they claim that that was liquid damage to this unit, and that has completely rendered it inoperable. Yay. Wonderful, wonderful Volvo reliability there. I don't even know why I'm putting this thing back together, but I might as well. And then I can hang it on my wall in my garage with a sign that says, "Don't ever do this again." All right. So what did we learn here? We learned that right to repair is a good thing. And proprietary software should not lock down all of your cars, even if you can get the parts. We learned we should not put spinning platter hard drives in cars, and then try and find a way to blame the new owner, their lovely car that they were super excited to get, when something goes wrong. Shame on you, Volvo. Clearly, you do not stand behind your product. And by product, I don't mean your cars, I mean your warranties and your certified pre-owned. When I bought a certified pre-owned car, I expected it to be looked over. And what you could not see, I expected to be covered, when clearly no one got in here and completely cleaned the transmission tunnel, because it was also a little bit dusty. Had we spilled something in the car, through the cup holders, into all the little nooks and crannies that you probably could not get stuff out of, and then thoroughly deep cleaned the entire car, possibly with some sort of steam cleaner or something, one, I would have expected it to be clean. It wasn't clean, so I didn't clean it, and I didn't suddenly clean it before bringing you a dead car that I couldn't have driven. It doesn't make any sense. And when someone pays that and buys all of your warranties and gets everything covered, the least you can do is give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not lying, and say, maybe we missed something, or maybe one of our units failed, or maybe you have so many of these units failed and so much corruption with the Sensus system that you don't want a recall on your hands, and so you just assume that it's the buyer's responsibility and they obviously destroyed it. Now, maybe one day the Sensus unit will have enough problems with enough users that someone will take notice and you will get all of them recalled and replaced for locking up and doing the exact same thing that ours did. Until that day, I am very sad for anyone that has a crap dealer that doesn't want to sell them cars, doesn't want to deal with them, doesn't have any loaners, and blames them for everything that went wrong with their car. That's not the kind of service that I expect. That's not the kind of service that I get on a car that costs 1/3, 1/4 that price. So, will I be buying another Volvo? No. As far as I'm concerned, until their dealer network has something better or their corporate figures out how to not blame the consumer, no, I'm not buying their stuff. And this is why I don't live close enough. You hear people talking all the time about things like Teslas and their dealer network, and how with their dealer network, it's like, oh, you have to drive and you have to wait, and you've got to wait on your car to be repaired, and it can take a long time to get the parts in. Well, we had to wait on the car for quite a long time to get the parts in. We weren't even offered any kind of loaner because they didn't have any available. So I guess all car brands are the same then. Can't complain about one and not complain about the other, but they let us down. So I guess that's it for this live stream. You guys have seen as much as I did. There's nothing in this unit. In fact, whatever stuff, it almost looks like it was manufactured there or something. I don't understand what any of that is. For all I know, it was some sort of grease or lunch or something of the guy in the install bay that took the thing out. All right, I'm going to put this hunk of junk back together and use it as a wonderful reminder and a very, very expensive paperweight for a car that I no longer have. TLDR, don't buy Volvo. They'll rip you off for $3,000 and then claim it was your fault. All right, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.